Friends, family, fans, we are back with another episode of Back 9 Bets, baby. Episode 178, Twisted Truths of the Wyndham Championship. It's going to be twisted because we have a twisted. Shout out Larry, a.k.a. Tom and Marty's, a.k.a. the co-host of The First Taste. Shotgunned a beer, a twisted tea on his show in epic fashion yesterday. Go check that out over there on YouTube on The First Taste. We'll be doing the same, but with a little bigger boy. So we have got a nice big 24 ouncer that we'll be demolishing at some point here. We'll find our person to do it for. We've got multiple outrights, we've got multiple placements, and we only have one title sponsor of this show. DraftKings. Use code FGD when signing up as a first-time depositor for a little something from us to a little something to you for something for us. Know how that goes. We'd really appreciate that. Let's dive into the Wyndham Championship. Good week last week in the placement side of things. I'll have a couple unveilings of some truths over here. We have some truths, some tough truths, some twisted truths that we're going to have to get through, the guys at the top of the board, as we're going through this all. So maybe once we're done with the truths, I'll have, I think I've got truths all the way up to Michael Brennan. Maybe, we'll stop at Brooks and then maybe we'll go from there. We'll see how it goes. I don't know where the show's going to go, but we are rocking and rolling. What's up, Tom Leach? Let's do this. Let's go, my brother. Okay, we'll get the comments popped up here. Let's dive right into it. As always, we are going to be looking at the model over here. Everything you can see on your screen is available to Model Maniac Patreons. Link in the description below. Use BETS26 for 50% off monthly or annual packages down there. Remember, the Dog Dominator is the best ball PGA tool that we use, and it's a $50 product that's free to annual subs. So jump in there, get yourself rocking and rolling. Let's party. Here's the tools. We'll go through all of these things as we go through the model. Cameron Young, numero uno in the model, $10,400 in DraftKings pricing. He is, when it comes to DraftKings odds, I think like 8 plus 850, some absurd number. So the twisted truth we have for Cameron Young is we're going to wait until round 2 to get in play with him. Because if we take a look at what Cameron Young gets up to, we are looking at one of the most impressive round 2 performers of our modern era in the last 12 months. We've got a couple NAs over here. We are not drinking NAs. We're getting those out of the model. We are only wanting guys. Look at this Cameron Young round 2 strokes gained, friends. He's gaining 3 strokes per round on a Friday. So we are hopefully really, really hoping that Cameron Young gets off to a poor start like he did last week. And then on Friday gets fired up and then we can get in on the action, because I quite frankly cannot stomach a Cameron Young top 10 that's even money. I understand he's been playing better lately, but not nearly for long enough. He's finishing inside the top 10 at a 59% clip, which is probably where we should be going, to be honest with you. We're playing a little cute here, but he's actually been very profitable in the top 10 market. But the thing is, if we're taking a look at his more recent form, the last 2 months, despite having almost won the Open Championship, have been a little concerning by his standards. We've kind of gone off the boil, but what I am very excited about is the fact that we are going to be finding Cameron Young doing his thing on Bermuda putting surfaces. If we take a look at some of the best Bermuda putters versus other putters, in fact, I'm just going to leave this here. Let's try and freeze this frame. Freeze frame, view, freeze, up to column A. Nope, not going to let me do it. Of course, why would it let me? We're going to go back over here, though. But you can see Bermuda versus other. That's where that column is over there. Here's Cameron Young doing his thing. By the way, if you're not watching in 1080 pixels, get your HD on the YouTube, because I'm sharing the screen with lots of small numbers over here. Cameron Young, Bermuda putting, 0.9 strokes gained since 2025, the beginning of. If we take a look at all of his other situations, he's actually been a really good putter, but it's all really come on Bermuda the last little while. Bent, Poa, fescue, no matter where you're going, he's kind of neutral there. He almost gains a stroke on the field on Bermuda surfaces. Shout out all of his wins, basically, So I think Players is overseeded Bermuda. I would imagine Doral is Bermuda, and I imagine that last year was Bermuda as well, which they'll be playing on again this week. So he is a great putter on the surfaces. And the ball striking, I know I've mentioned him as like a short game savant. He's actually a very good ball striker as well. Been doing some good work in the ball striking front, especially off the tee. That's what he does absolutely the best. But putting well on Bermuda surfaces. So hopefully we're getting a slow start for Cameron Young. I probably should bet the top 10 at minus 102 or whatever we're getting out there. But I'm waiting for that poor performance to maybe get some odds drifting towards us in that department over there. All right, so that's your Cameron Young take. Obviously, number one in the model. We'll be playing him this week. But we're waiting until round 2. Hopefully, we get off to a slow start. That's our first Twisted Truth. It's kind of average. Jackson Coyven. The first Twisted Truth for Jackson Coyven is going to be he's lost more strokes putting than he has as a professional gained. If you go over to his data golf profile, you'll see on average per round, per the tournaments, yes, he missed one cut and there's like 2 rounds that he didn't play. But if you're averaging out each tournament fairly, he's technically lost like a fraction of a stroke as a professional. He lost heavily at the John Deere, he gained heavily at the 3M, and he gained heavily at, I believe, the ISCO. Lost again last week putting. So we are starting to get a bit of the putty waddies with Jackson Coyven. We've seen these professionals. I mean, he obviously just putted fantastically. I'm providing you with twisted truths. Truths I don't want to really provide you. They've been twisted out of me, and that's where we're going. So we are rocking and rolling with the twisted truths until we get finished with them, yeah. And then we'll have a twisted tea shotgun. That's probably how we're going to roll with the show today. So Jackson Coyven has lost more strokes putting than he has gained as a professional, essentially. It's only been 4 tournaments, friends. Relax. But it is a twisted truth. That's why it's twisted. We are also actually going to be going to Jackson Coyven to win this tournament at plus 2350. So that was out there before Patrick Cantley withdrew. Dropped all that in the Model Maniac Patreon. Link in the description below. Again, if you want to tail my losing outright bets, feel free to jump in there. Ideally, just go and grab all the placements I put in there as I make them. That's where you'll really make your money using that kind of service. I'm not ashamed that I'm a poor outright bettor. I just don't know how to get my guys across the line. If I could go out there and play for them, I probably wouldn't because they're way better than me anyway. So that's kind of just the deal we're rolling with over there. But Jackson Coyven, playing fantastic golf. We still don't necessarily know exactly who this kid is. He could be one of the greatest things since sliced bread. He could also be, sourdough bread. Actually, I had some sourdough toast today. Phenomenal product. It's sourdough. If you don't have any sourdough in your life, dough. Go and get some dough because it's worth it. So we want some Jackson Coyven sourdough in our life. He's going to bring us back the dough. He is a phenomenal iron player. He finds fairways at a rapid rate here on the tour right now. Got a very goofy swing. It is what it is. This is how we're rocking and rolling. And the iron play is fantastic. The putting is typically pretty solid, but since being that professional, we've had a bit of a but maybe we get back onto some Bermuda surfaces here. Off we go. Off we go. So Jackson Coyven, not a lot to go off of there. Everything I'm going to tell you already kind of know. Playing fantastic golf. I think the 23-1 is a fair number for probably one of the next superstars in our sport. So, remember when everyone was saying Colin Morikawa got to 30-1? You always bet Colin Morikawa. Well, Jackson Coyven is like 24-1, 23-1. He was 23-1. Why not get him on the card? Off we go with Jackson Coyven. Let's get it going. All right, Hideki Matsuyama, the cold, hard, twisted truth for Hideki Matsuyama is he becomes Hideki Womp on Bermuda surfaces. Now, we have seen a uptick in putting for Hideki Matsuyama over the last little while. Things are looking better in that department, not on the model, though. He's kind of neutral on Bermuda and general putting for the last little while. But if you go over to the strokes gained tab that I have over here, these are data golf pools that I did for the last 12, 8, 4, and 2 months, and you can see who are the putters in this field. Hideki Matsuyama over here, gaining fractionally, and I've used the last 2 months, the last 4 months, the last 8 months, and the last 12 months worth of data in there to kind of get that rocking and rolling. This is where we're finding Hideki Matsuyama still finding his way towards the trending side of putting well. So he's doing some good work. If we take a look at Hideki Matsuyama's actual trending tab, it's actually a lot better than you'd imagine. Let's hide these other names over here that we don't have to see. We can go to the last, let's do the last month. See who's playing the best golf over the last little while. Cameron Young, Hideki Matsuyama, Ryan Gerard. So those are your guys. Hideki obviously gaining 2.4 strokes over there in rounds in the last month, playing some good golf, which is well above his average strokes gained over the last 2, 12, 6, 4, 2, 1 months of data that I have on the screen over here for you guys. And it's good to see. You know, we often wait for Hideki to show us some form. We are going to a ball striking paradise. If we take a look at Hideki Matsuyama's player profile over here, you can take a look at everything that you want for Hideki Matsuyama all in one space. I'm kind of jumping over the model right now, but you can see exactly what's going on. From the ball striking standpoint, you know what, before we even get there, here's his easy and medium scoring. Hideki Matsuyama's done significantly better in the easy and medium scoring environments versus hard and hellish. If you are looking for what that means, we are going to course difficulty over here. Easy scoring conditions are 1.5 strokes under par or easier for that round. Medium scoring is 0.5 to 1.5 strokes under par for the scoring average for that round. Hard scoring is even par to 0.5 under par, and hell scoring is over par. So we will be expecting to see really easy scoring conditions. If I recall correctly, weather is going to be quite flaccid for the week ahead. Lots of rain, lots of softness. We saw Ian McNeil share on Twitter at Flag Hunting Pod. The rough is thick, but finding the fairway is going to be much easier because it is so soft out there. Thursday, look at this. There is like zero wind involved for Thursday's forecast. Then we go to Friday. Again, some rain, zero wind involved, some wind gusts that are typically what we see as the normal wind most days on tour. Saturday, zero wind. Sunday, even less wind. I mean, good God. Good God. We are going to see scoring through the roof this week, I'd imagine. Soft golf course and no wind. I mean, these guys are going to demolish this place. So if we take a look at the best easy scoring conditions over the last little while, Hideki Matsuyama's right up there with the best of them. Brooks being one of them as well. Where the hell did Hideki go? It's so fun when you start a stream and you can't find your guy. So Hideki, you know, averaging 0.7, 0.9, 0.8, 0.9 in those rounds. Not terrible, nothing fantastic either, though. Where was I going with all of this? So Hideki's playing some good golf. We are going, I should have actually put the banner up here, Hideki Matsuyama 32-1. Obviously, that's where we're going to be rocking and rolling with. We've been speaking about him for long over here. The only issue is just the putting, because we know the iron play is going to be fantastic. We know he's actually finding more fairways than normal right now. So I think we can expect him to do some good work in that department. And as we've seen here, the form is starting to find its groove again here over the last 2 months, especially the last month, with some really good finishes. If we take a look at his more recent finishes, it's been a 14th, a 3rd, and a 5th in his last 3 starts. Love to see that. And then his finishes at this golf course, he finished here 19th last year. So maybe that was the putter being a total bitch again. It's likely what's going to happen. So as a result, we are going to be going to Hideki Matsuyama for a top 20 at plus 120 as well. Hideki top 20 plus 120 or plus 105 or something like that. It's where we are going. I completely forgot that I had it here. What did I put it in the Discord at? Hideki Matsuyama top 20 plus 115 at most places. So you can find it over there. If we're taking a look at Hideki Matsuyama's top 20 rates, he's actually been profitable in this department. This is the last 12 months, betting to win $100. There we go. Hideki's gained you $90, which is we're winning 100, so barely anything, but still profit. Doing it 59% of the time inside the top 20 over the last 12 months. So good to see that for Hideki Matsuyama. It's something we'd really want to kind of hone in on over here as well. I'm going to get these comments off of the screen. It's bothering me. It's in the way of the majority of what I'm showing you guys. So we'll get some claustrophobia going here. Checking in on some chats. Tom Lee says, I'm not buying the Koivan hype myself. Price is gross, maybe top 10, but outright a hard pill to swallow. Again, I agree, Tom Leach. I missed him at the 3, and this is my specialty. It's dancing around these guys' victories. I had Koivan at the John Deere. I have him now. Is he going to win this week? Probably not. It just is what it is. But I still think current price is probably a bit of a problem. I felt like the 23.5 to 1 was a bit more fair. So, you know, that's my take over there. This week is our final week in one and done. I have 600k lead and have Tom, Kim, Quaver, and Gerard available still. What's my safest bet to hold this lead? Appreciate you. Tom, Kim, Quaver, and Gerard. I think, man, that's a tough sell. If we're going and buy rankings, it's Quaver. I mean, I think you got to go with Quaver. He's just playing so well right now. You know, if you take a look at the last couple starts, 10th, 1st, 31st. A 31st a week after winning your first PGA Tour event, not bad at all. And it was a bad putting week. If he has a really good putting week, he can have a good week. If not, you're getting a 31st performance from him, which he did at the Rocket Classic. Ryan Gerard is going to be way down here, but he does check 5 boxes. But Jackson Quaven checks all 7 boxes this week. By the way, the 7 boxes are easy and medium scoring conditions, micro model, aka course fit, strokes gained over the last 2 months, Wyndham Championship strokes gained. Jackson Quaven has a 5th year back in the day, last year. Then we have win top 5, top 10, top 20 rates combined to kind of get some upside, the model rank and strokes gained approach for our guys. And Jackson Quaven is top 20 in the model for all 7 of those alongside Cameron Young. If you're seeing a pink box, it means 5 boxes of the 7. A white name is 6 boxes of the 7. So Ben Griffin and Hideki have checked more boxes than Alex Noren and Aaron Rai. Mac Masner and Rasmus Højgaard checking 4 boxes. We'll get to those guys shortly. But kind of going through the twisted truths, and then we'll get to our guys shortly. Here's these. So Hideki Matsuyama, there you have it for you. Yeah. I'm so scared to lead in. You know, but I don't think he's scared. That's the thing, is like he believes so deeply in his ability. When Amanda Balionis asked him about, is this just the beginning? And his answer was, yes, ma'am. Like, that to me was all you needed to hear, because this was just a stepping stone in his big picture. You know, Scotty Scheffler took a while to win when he came from the KFT. Fantastic KFT player, but he's just shown up here and just won. Dialed in, fantastic pedigree. I mean, until we have reason to believe that he's not going to be good, let's just assume Jackson Quaven is the next coming of the golf gods, you know? So let's roll with that as we go there. Justin Thomas is 27th in the model, $9,400. What have I put in here for a twisted truth for him? Oh, he's had 1 top 10 in the last 12 starts. So are we interested in that? Is that something that inspires joy to you at $9,400? At a golf course that you typically have to drive the ball very well and very accurately, Justin Thomas has actually been doing that a bit better lately. Typically not the best driver of the golf ball, but he has been doing better. Can't find the putter at the moment. Fantastic chipper, and the irons have been bad. So basically, the things that you need to do well at this golf course, he's not doing. And the things that you don't necessarily need to do that great, he is doing. So, you know, his upside, his floor is pretty high because he's fantastic around the greens. Every time he's missing, he's chipping close, making pars, whatever, doing his thing. But not necessarily that interested in Justin Thomas this week. Ryan Gerard is up next. We just spoke about him kind of briefly as that one and done hypothetical there for our friend. But again, what we are starting to see here is the twisted truth for Ryan Gerard is a bit more optimistic in a weird. He is a better short gamer than a ball striker at this current point in time. If we go and take a quick peek at what he's been up to in that department, it is kind of absurd to see what he's been doing on the short game front. The putter, since the Charles Schwab, has not lost strokes. Yes, the US Open was a fractional gain. Still counts. The approach play has been hit or miss. The driver has been hit or miss as well. Not as bad, but still pretty solid. The short game has been concrete. Very, very solid. He's gained around and on the greens since the US Open every single week. What's that? 5 in a row. So we are now seeing a guy that's a better short gamer than a ball striker. And if for some reason, you know, that's what gives me the concern on him as a safety option for one and done, is just the fact that the ball striking is kind of there-ish, whereas the short game is absolutely there right now. It doesn't give you a floor short game. You know, it gives you a high, like a low floor, does good short game, but the ball striking is what gives you like immensely high floors. So we are waiting for him to get back there. Nothing too crazy about the various splits. You know, the easier it gets, you know, obviously not ideal for Ryan Gerard, hence the ball striking. You know, the more difficult it is, more chipping, the more putting, blah, blah, blah. So there's your Ryan Gerard take. Can't say I'm thrilled about the price. Can't say I'm thrilled about the course fit, so to speak. 20th in the model for the course fit there. And, you know, the iron play is still pretty solid, though, in general, long term. But, again, do what you want with that information. At $9,300 and the general price he is at right now, it's a bit of a concern for me. I understand he's playing sensational golf over the last 2 months. There you have it. Okay. The next bet we're going to be placing is a Tom Kim. And the twisted truth here is that Tom Kim is younger than Michael Thorbjornsen, who just had his breakthrough victory on the PGA Tour. Tom Kim is looking for his 4th win. He's second at this event. His 5th win. He just won the Scottish. Excuse me. His 5th win on the PGA Tour. Just won the Scottish. Has 2 Ws at TPC Summerlin for the Shriners. This is a golf course Tom Kim has thrived at. 23rd in the model. This was a maniac call. Obviously, I'm not going to be betting him based off of model rankings yet. 29th in the model. But we know the course history is there. We got a win here in 2022. We have a 3M Open top 20 after his win at the Scottish Open as well. So there's a lot to like about Tom Kim. He's a very accurate driver of the golf ball. He is a fantastic iron player. We are just waiting for the putting to come around. Again, we are a bit better on Bermuda long term or short term than we have seen other surfaces for Tom Kim. So the tee to green game is absolutely there. He's lacking distance. May I remind you that Kevin Kisner, Webb Simpson, who won this thing last year, Cameron Young's a bit of an exception to the rule. But if we're taking a look at some of the best finishes at this event, we've got Davis Riley. Okay, Chandler Phillips is up there. That's more recently. Geez, B, find your spot and go for it, yeah, brother. There we go. Well, we'll just go strokes gained at this golf course over the last little while. Mac Masner's not necessarily the longest driver of the golf ball. Billy Horschel's not the longest driver. Alex Noren, Ben Griffin, Aaron Rice, Sungjae Webb, Max Griesemann, Patrick Fishburne, JT Poston, Davis Thompson, Matt McCarty, Chris Kirk, Nico Echeverria. Dare I go on? You know, if we just take a look at these guys' driving distances, there's not a lot of that going on here, you know, compared to the fairway finding percentages of these dudes. If we go all the way down to Chris Kirk, we are summing up to 360 for fairway finding rate, and then we are summing up to negative 0.3 quarters, negative 0.75 for distance of the guys that have the best course history at this golf course. So, you know, that is current form right now. It's not what they were doing prior, but, you know, an old dog doesn't learn new tricks unless you're getting ball speed and stuff. Most of these guys we do know are just generally short hitters and always have been. So why not go to guys that provide you with that kind of upside when the distance isn't a big issue? So we got young Tom Kim doing his thing, looking for a second win here, 42-1. Let's freaking go. I'm all about Tom Kim. Hopefully we can get 43-1, sorry. That has obviously changed since Patrick Cantley withdrew, but I'm not changing my odds. They are in the Discord if you want them over there. So, Tom Kim, let's go. Love what's going on with him. I'm in the mood to party with Timothy Kim. Moving on to our next guy. So, Ben Griffin, if we're taking a look at Gryffindor, open this door here and see. He has been a top 20 money pit. If we take a look at Ben Griffin over the last 12 months, he has finished inside the top 20, 43% of the time. But if you've been betting Ben Griffin, top 20, he's actually lost you $5 in that market. And that is for the last 12 months. If we go over to this handy-dandy tool that you have as a Model Maniac Patreon, you can type in Griffin. And if you want Lanto, you can click Lanto, but we're going Ben. Ben Griffin in 2026 has lost you $521 if you're betting to win $100 on him every single time he's played. Here are his top 20s. They came at the Cadillac, the Charles Schwab, the PGA Championship, the Sony, the Travelers, and the US Open. Majority of them have come in May and June. Remember, we've had a full month of golf in July, and we have not seen Ben Griffin there yet. So everything else was pretty poor. We've lost a significant amount of money at pretty much even money type situations, plus 150, plus 125. Too much of that. We started to drift to plus 260, plus 333 to start finding some top 20 value on the grift man. So he has been grifting us actually a lot in the top 20 market. If we go to 2025 alone, it was a market that, I mean, this is incredible. This is a truly different man, and he's a married man now. So you got to remember the monkey on the back there from the wedding was not a good sign. Kenny Kim knows a bad engagement marriage when he sees one, and we should have listened to him there. But overall, top 20 wise, Ben Griffin's still been a profitable bet over the last little while. If we go Wyndham Championship though, then we're starting to find some profitability again, and this is the situation that we are looking at with Ben Griffin. All of his, he's made, let's go with top 10, top 20, top 5, top wins. We got a top 5 here back in 2022. We got 2 top 10s, and we've got 3 top 20s in his last 4 starts, does Ben Griffin. So very nice to see. Which one comes through? Do we get this recent form that's been pretty dog crap? Really? He's been playing better lately, but not necessarily across the pond. He missed the cut at the freaking Rocket Classic. He, didn't do great things at the Open Championship either. So I don't know what to make of him. He's obviously doing fantastic work with the short game. The ball striking has kind of been hit or miss. Whether or not it shows up this week, we will see. He's obviously got a good feel around this golf course. So I don't know. Sometimes the best bets you make are the ones you don't, and that might be a Ben Griffin, even though the model's got him sitting in the 4th spot there. We go from Ben Griffin to a guy called Maverick McNeely, who's $9,000. He's 9th in the model. The twisted truth of Maverick McNeely is there is zero upside involved with this man's profile right now. We are seeing somebody that has finished 45th at this golf course in the past. His recent best finish is a 34th. He's missed the cut at the Open Championship. If we take a look at his last 12 months worth of finishing rates, Maverick McNeely has only finished inside the top 10 13% of the time. He's also done 39% of the time he's finishing inside the top 20. So that is the last 12 months. If we go over to our handy dandy tool over here and type in Maverick McNeely, you will see that in 2026 we have got some bad blood going on here. We're down $200 on Mav, and a lot of that happened early on the West Coast kind of thing, the Farmers, Arnold Palmer Invitational. Early in the year, not necessarily all West Coast, but you get what I'm saying, Waste Management, the Memorial, those kind of places. It's been a struggle since. If we take a look at the chronological situation here, the last we've had one top 20 in the last 7 starts. What are we doing, Mav? What are we doing, Maverick McNeely? So in this situation, we're going to be leaving him alone. Unless the ownership is ridiculous, then we're going to kind of go to him. But Maverick McNeely over there. All right, so we're almost getting to the point where I'm going to have to shotgun a beer. I am going to go blow my nose during the ad break, though. I have been like allergies today for some reason. So the joys. I was contemplating giving myself nose relief shots so that, like the spray that you can put in there to give yourself some love so I can breathe while I'm shotgunning. But challenge accepted. We might as well shotgun with a blocked nose and just really do it the right way. So in the meantime, let's take a look at what Keegan Bradley's twisted truth is. It says here, less upside than Mav. We just went through Mav's situation. Keegan Bradley, it's never good when you are the first red square in my conditional formatting here for the finish rates. Keegan Bradley's finished inside the top 10 4% of the time over the last 12 months. That's disgusting, especially when you consider that he's finished inside the top 20 1 in every 3 starts. Like, when was the last? You can go over to recent finishes if you want over here and find Keegan. Where are you, Keegan? Rocket Classic, I know he wasn't really up there, but it was not too far down the leaderboard. Yet another, middling performance from Keegan Bradley. Keegan, there he is. 15th at the Rocket, 74th at the Open, 26th at the John Deere, 14th at the Travelers, 32nd at the US Open, 19th at Workday Memorial, 35th, miscut, 19th, 49th, 12th, 21st, looking for a top 10. Where is a top 10? Where is a top 10? We are going far, far, far back into the world over here. What is this? A Tour Championship top 10. That's not going to cut it. Moving along to find another top 10. Oh, it was the last top 10 he had was the Travelers? Is that the truth of Keegan Bradley here? So, yeah. Not good. The Travelers win that he had like 2 years ago, I think, is Keegan Bradley's last top 10. I'm not going to dive into that all. Whatever. We know it's bad. So that's Keegan Bradley for you. We have a couple more, and then we're going to get out of here. I think I go up to Brooksy. So Aaron Rye's Twisted Truth. And not every truth has to be a negative one, okay? Aaron Rye is going to have his third top 5 since his last top 5 here at the Wyndham Championship last year. It will have now been his third top 5. He's only had 2. One of them being the freaking one flight, and then the following week he won the PGA Championship. So since his last Wyndham Championship, those are his only 2 top 5s. This will be his third. And it will also be his third consecutive top 5 at the Wyndham. He's now finished top 5 2 times in a row. It's a fantastic course fit for him. He's finished 1st and 5th. He won here 2 years ago. He thrives on approach, and he thrives in finding fairways. The fairway penalty at this golf course is exorbitant. It's one of the worst on the PGA Tour. If you are missing fairways at this golf course, you are putting yourself behind the Bermuda black ball, and it's not a good place to be. It's worse than a normal black ball. So there we have it over there. We have a question in the chat. Are we going to take a ride on the Alex Fitzpatrick bandwagon? Some tickets still available. Well, Mark, fancy you asking that question. Let's take a look at the Twisted Truth for Alex Fitzpatrick over here for us. Is he a good enough putter to win on the PGA Tour? I don't think so. But you don't have to be a good putter to win on the PGA Tour. You can just be a normal putter. And you can also just do what exactly Alex Fitzpatrick does and just strike the living piss out of the golf ball. 1.8, a 1.8 rating on the strokes gained approach side of things here, which is second to Ben Coles. And we are gaining off the tee. We are total driving. We are positive in the distance, and we are positive, very positive, on the fairway finding ability. If we take a look here, this fairway finding rate drops off relatively quickly. I mean, Alex Fitzpatrick is kind of down here. But again, he's one of the few guys that has distance as well. Not a lot of guys that have fairway finding ability have distance. The likes of Rasmus Nyegaard-Peterson, Doug Gim, Jackson Coyven. Who else over here? Jordan Smith, Ben James, Neil Shipley. Those are all guys that gain off the tee distance-wise as well that are ahead of Alex Fitzpatrick driving-wise. But Alex Fitzpatrick on approach, significantly better than the rest. That's the easiest way to find him in any sort of metrics is to go Alex Fitzpatrick on approach. Playing some of his best golf over the last 2 months compared to last 4, last 6. Starting to see some good returns over there. Struggled a little bit actually in the Open and the Scottish. Not too concerned about that. Went back home, probably had a lot of obligations. I have one random stray eyelash hair that's driving me insane right now as well, as I just fondle my eyeball in front of you all. But Alex Fitzpatrick, love him for a top 20 as well. So 43 to 1, we had him for an outright, and we're going to go to him for a top 20, plus 188, dropping 0.6 units on that to return just over a unit. And we take a look at Alex Fitzpatrick's situation when it comes to finishing rates. He's been a phenomenal returner in the top 20 market. He's returned $571 in the top 20 market. It is, in fact, the highest return rate of anybody in this field. Next up is Zach Blair, which we'll chat about here shortly. But Alex Fitzpatrick has been a monster in the top 20 market, finishing inside the top 20 47% of the time across the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour. When you are getting plus 188 and your average finish rate inside the top 20 is half the time, that is going to provide you with profitability. It's just simple as that. I mean, we are close to almost 66% implied probability at 2 to 1 versus even money at plus 100, which is where he probably should be priced. I would not, if I were to set a line for Alex Fitzpatrick, it would probably be plus 120. These are ties paid in full as well. So give me Alex Fitzpatrick top 20 as well with that outright 43 to 1. Let's freaking go, baby. All right. Almost there, friends. We are going to take a couple looks at, we were doing the DraftKings pricing, and then we'll get into the back end of the model, all of that stuff here. Michael Brennan, a twisted truth about Michael Brennan is he has got officially a case of the Sunday scaries. Let's actually just make that red, because that is not a good situation to have. In the last 2 Sundays, Michael Brennan has finished 24th and I think 15th, but he's lost 8.5 strokes to the field on those Sundays. He's been right in the mix every single time in the last 2 weeks and just cannot bring the plane home. If you take a look here, it's diabolically bad. On your screen, you are seeing somebody that has a strokes gained round 1 average of 1.2. Round 2 is a 0.9 strokes gained. Round 3, 0.7. Round 4, 1.1 strokes lost. Negative 1.1. It's like the worst number you'll see of anyone up top here. Nobody in his price range is losing that many strokes in any single round. We've got Brian Harman on a Sunday. We've got Jordan Spieth on a Saturday, losing 0.6 each. Sungjae Im on a Sunday and a Saturday, losing 0.13 over the period of those 2 days combined, but not nearly 1.1 for either. Then we get the first person that is losing as many strokes on a Sunday or any round as Michael Brennan is on a Sunday is Chris Kirk. We're also losing 1.1 strokes. So not good. Got to keep scrolling all the way to Sepp Straka, who on Sundays shits the bed bigger than Michael Brennan. But again, probably not shitting the bed nearly as much as his child is, because having a kid and trying to play good golf is probably one of the hardest things in the world to do. Shout out Sepp Straka, being a great dad. Struggling on Sundays, though. So there you have the Michael Brennan twisted truth, is the Sunday scaries are real. They are really, really real. Not good. And then our final one here for Brooksy is, it's just going to be, are we going to have to change his name to the Babbling Brooks Koepka now? All he's really doing is constantly like speaking to his game versus actually delivering on his game. An 11% top 10 rate, a 6% top 5 rate, while finishing inside the top 20 almost half the time. Where is the upside for Brooksy when we are looking for somebody to just dominate? An alpha male, essentially, has always been the alpha in the room. Can't finish inside the top 10, does Brooks. I mean, if we go over to Brooksy's recent performances, didn't play the Rockets. So now we've got injury concerns on Brooks as well. So overall, I'm just out in general. Here's his situation. We are looking for a top 10. And I see one at the Cognizant Classic that was like a monster back 9. A lot of teenage finishes, 14th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 18th, all of that kind of stuff. But again, it's not been good. The more recent form has been actually very bad. We've missed 3 cuts in a row before the Open Championship 28th, a major when he gets up for it. So that is it there for Brooksy. Not ideal. Not going to be clicking his name at $8,500 either. It's just I'm waiting for more from him. So in the meantime, I'm going to love and leave you guys with one quick little ad here for 59 seconds, and I'll be back for the rest of the show, and we will be doing a Twisted Tea shotgun start to the second half of the show. It'll be a fun one. We'll catch you guys shortly. New DraftKings customers, get in the game right now. Sign up today, make your first deposit of just $5 and instantly get $25 in free Pick 6 bonus picks, plus a powerful single-use 100% winnings boost token. That means you can play for free with $25 in bonus picks, and if you win, boost those winnings up to 100%. That's up to $100 boost in cash. New customers only. Bonus picks and your boost token expire in just 14 days, so don't wait. This offer is live from June 20th through August 23rd. Download the DraftKings app, sign up, and start playing Pick 6 today. Must be 18 or older, 19 in Alabama, Nebraska, 21 in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. That only where Pick 6 is available. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. New customers only, minimum $5 deposit required. Full terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Play free, win bigger, only on DraftKings Pick 6. Boom. Shout out DraftKings for sponsoring the show. Please listen to all the instructions that I gave you there. It will really help me help you. All right, so Larry did a wonderful shotgun. We have got ourselves, it's going to be our first attempt at a 24-ouncer. I could die. I just blew my nose, so I'm doing a lot better, as you can tell by the sound. By the way, also, before we get here, we are referring to Brooks no longer as the Babbling Brooks. It's more the Baffling Brooks, per Tom Leach. Couldn't agree more. Fantastic nickname there. You also trust Fitzpatrick putting over Rye. I mean, Rise made some putts to win some tournaments. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see until then. But we have Alex on the card. So back to the shotgun here. I've had this out of the fridge a little while. I'm not drinking a cold shotgun either. So this is relative room temperature. As Larry explained yesterday, you always want the tab and the bubble of where you're going to make the puncture shot to drink out of to be aligned. You want the tab over here, and then where the hull of the drinking part is. What the hell do you call this? The tab is not this. That's the tab. You want the hole that you drink out of and the air bubble to be on the same side on the top. Then you grab your jet ski. You grab your jet ski and you make a hole. And by jet ski, I mean you grab your jet's lanyard keys and you grab a house key that we've just moved into. You grab a nice one with a nice straight edge. Usually the best way to go about it. Wet hands because of the condensation on the outside of the can. I'm also extremely nervous for this because it's a lot of liquid. Here we go. So you're going to pop the top here. Get that bad boy there. Pop it. There we go. Then you flip the key to have your nice flat side of the key over here. Kind of go against the top of the can over there. You kind of scoot it around a little bit. Then you push down. Get yourself a nice little blowhole over here. Okay. Then you let it rip, baby, to winning a tournament this week. One of the guys we're going to click is going to win. It's just bound to happen. So 24 ounces of half and half love, twisted truths. Let's freaking go. Whew. Minimal spillage, but definitely some. Have never done that with an empty. I'd say that's pretty good leftovers, in my opinion. 24 ounces. Wet t-shirt contest. Look at this. Oh, we got a little love on the chest there. This is what we do shows for, friends. This is what the Model Maniac thrives for. So, back to our regular scheduled programming here for us. Let's move some of these columns around as well, now that we have some clarity on the whole situation. Also, shotgunning twisteds is way better than shotgunning beers, by the way. All right, so now we are filtered by the model. We are done with the twisted truths of the show. Don't know where that came from. Also, hi, Darbo. Good to see you. I'm glad to know you made it back from your date on Sunday, back safely, since you ditched me. Darbo. Anyway, Mac Masner is on the slate over here, and I have a twisted truth for you over here. I'm going to be heavily exposed to McClure Masner this week. Number 3 in the model. He's got the same top 5 and top 10 rates as the guys we've just been bitching about, but he's $8,100. He's not nearly in the $9,000 range like we just saw. All of those names. And McClure Masner is a Sedgefield love lord. Over the last 5 rounds, last 5 tournaments, he's only played twice, but he's finished 12th and 2nd in those 2 appearances at this golf course. And then we're getting ourselves a 26th, a miscut, and a 30th in the last 3 starts. If you take a look at what Mac has actually got up to in the betting markets over the last little while, the top 20 market has been profitable, $118 returned over there for him. If we go over to Mac Masner's top 20 numbers for the year, Mac Masner over there, he's lost us money in the top 20 market in 2026. But if we go chronologically, I kind of fancy his chances to get it back on the schedule. Yeah, we finished top 20 at the John Deere Classic. What I want to point out to you is the bigger the tournament, the worse Mac Masner is. The one flight, he top 20'd. The Charles Schwab, he top 20'd, and the John Deere Classic, he top 20'd. He's since played in the Rocket, the 3M, the Genesis Scottish Open. Look, the Rocket and the 3M should have come home there. But again, that was finishes of just outside the top 20 as well. 26th and 30th. So not ideal, but it is what it is. So, missed the cut at the 3M2. But what I'm really trying to get home here is Mac Masner loves this golf course. We've got a 2nd and a 12th in 2 appearances. We are a guy that easily enjoys easy and medium scoring conditions more than hard and hellish. Like, there's a definite split. The moment conditions get difficult for Mac, it's Mac attack, the back of the pack. Once it gets easy, things get breezy, and we see Sleazy McGeezy up the leaderboard here from Mac Masner, rocking and rolling. Fantastic short game. At this golf course, he's going to be gaining on approach as well. Finds a medium amount of fairways, right in the middle of the pack, fairway finding rate. But course fit model has him 9th in the field. A couple poor starts recently, has the last 2 months struggling a little bit there, but over the last 4 months, he's gaining over a stroke on the field. And there's a lot to like about him. I have got him ranked like 14 spots ahead of his DraftKings price. Obviously, he's $8,100 and 3rd in the model. That's going to be the case there. So we're going to be looking at a Mac Masner top 20 at +1. Wow! I lie. Mac Masner top 20 at +210. If we take a look at what he's been coming at, +375, +225, +175, +280, somewhere in that range. There's a bit of course history baked into this price, but again, I'm still happy to take on a 2-to-1 top 20 for McClure Masner, who is grading out phenomenally, who is doing good work on the Bermuda putting surfaces, who is a great chipper, who is a great ball striker when it comes to this golf course's irons, and we know that because he's played well, yeah. So give me the McClure, man. Is he going to win? Probably not. Is he going to top 5? Probably not. Is he going to top 10? Probably not. But he does finish inside the top 20 3 of every 10 starts, and he's done it 2 of the last 2 times he's played at this golf course. So there we have it. All right, so there's Mac Masner off the charts here. We've spoken about Hideki, we've spoken about Koivu, we've spoken about Alex Fitzpatrick. We've got some other names we need to chat about here. I have this. Oh, sure. Let me hide it and edit it because it's just missing one D, and we'll chat about him here. So if we take a look at the top 20 filter here for the last little while, last 12 months, this includes DP World Tour, this includes Korn Ferry Tour, this includes PGA Tour. We've got Cameron Young finishing inside the top 20, 64% of the time. We have Hideki Matsuyama finishing inside the top 20, 59% of the time. By the way, we have that Hideki top 20 plus 115. And then the next guy is Blades Brown. Across the various tours he is playing, he's finishing inside the top 20, 52% of the time. If you take a look at this year, we don't even need to have any filters. Blades Brown is the best bet you could have made in 2026 playing in this field. His top 20 numbers have been sensational. It's easier. It's significantly easier to explain which tournaments Blades has not top 20'd than what he has top 20'd. Because he's got 5 that he's top 20'd and 2 that he has not. The Valspar and the Cognizant. So those were the 2 instances where he didn't quite thrive. Do I love the fact that I think both of those are Bermuda grass surfaces? Thinking about it now, while everything else he played on bent. What's the Myrtle? Myrtle's probably Bermuda as well, right? So there's a bit of that there. I think that's absolutely what's going on. But we are looking at the best bet there is in this field. Very small sample size, obviously, but you see it here. And it's plus 250, plus 250, plus 175, plus 375, plus 300, plus 400, plus 1200. That top 20 at the Amex was plus 1200. We are getting Blades at plus 260. What has happened since the John Deere, since the CJ Cup Byron Nelson, to get a Blades Brown top 20 bet with better odds than the 2 times he cashed that prior? He was plus 175 at Myrtle. I understand the Moaning Myrtle doesn't have the men in it. They're all playing whatever major during that period of time. But I don't understand this price. Are we betting half a unit on it to win? I should be betting a full unit to win 2.6, to be honest with you. Because he's just playing such good golf. His floor is through the roof. The 52% top 20 rate is banana land. So I love what Blades has been doing in that market. Until he wins, maybe we'll just have a top 20 bet on the guy that wins the tournament. I'm cool with that. It means we are winning money. Are we winning as much money as we would like to? No. but I love Blades' floor. I'm not necessarily thrilled about his upside. You know, we've seen him hang around the top of these leaderboards and not quite get it home, which is a fantastic problem to have. If I'm worried about him not winning a tournament by a stroke or two, it means my top 20 bet is in the freaking Gucci land. And I'm all cool for that. So, let's go. Blades will be involved heavily, potentially, 25 to 50% of my lineups this week. We are now moving on from the twisted truths over here to some other stuff. So we're skipping over, at least we know what we've spoken about so far as we're cruising down here. While we're talking about top 20 rates, take a look at Zach Blair's top 20 rate. And while we're looking at his top 20 rate over here, take a look at how do you find Zach Blair. You go ahead here to the betting to win $100 over the last 12 months column. You click on the total. You click that little arrow. Then you click sort by Z to A, which is not to have Zach Blair at the top, but it's the biggest numbers to the smallest. The most dollars returned across win, top 5, top 10, and top 20 markets. We are looking at somebody at the top here called Cameron Young, who's returned you over $1,000 over the last 12 months, and he's returned you money in every single market. It's not often your win column is better than your top 20 column, but there we have it for Cam Young. Alex Fitzpatrick is next up. He's returned you $1,039 over the last 12 months. And then Zach Blair, despite having lost you almost $100 in the win and top 5 markets, has returned $801, which is a total of $894 across the top 10 and top 20 markets. And that top 20 market is hefty for Zach Blair. If you want to take a look at Zach Blair top 20, you can go ahead and bet him at plus 375. Plus 375 for a top 20 bet. If you take a look at what he's got up to in the 2026 season, we struggled at the Rocket Classic. It's not a good golf course for him anyway. But then we had a 3M cash, an ISCO cash, and a John Deere Classic cash where he got out front early at the JDC and he was part of our first round leader. He came in hard for us there. So loved that. He gets off to really fast starts. If you take a look at Zach Blair's player profile over here, you can see in the round by round scoring, I actually had him for a first round leader at the John Deere, despite not necessarily getting off to that strong of a start. But the early rounds are where he gets it going. Round 2, he dials it in. 1.2 strokes gained in round 2. Remember, Michael Brendan's losing 1.1 strokes on a Sunday. So that's that situation. He's finished. This should be. Is this McClure's stuff still? Mac. Let's get Zach. Maybe we got some. What the freaking hell's going on here? Anyway, we'll go back to what we know we're doing here. All right. So, did Zach play well here last year? No, he's missed multiple cuts at this event. It's okay. We're ignoring the course history here, and we are rocking and rolling with what we know is going on well in his life. 50th at the Rocket, so did not miss the cut. He made the cut. 8th at the ISCO, 13th at the 3M. Obviously finished inside the top 20 at the John Deere Classic like we saw. So I love Zach Blair this week. From an upside perspective, we obviously don't have that top 5 win equity, but he can't just seem to hang around the top of the leaderboard. But what he does do well is really thrive in those conditions. If this is an easy scoring festival, though, we are in trouble because he doesn't really do well at the birdie fest. But these are the last 12 months as well. We have seen Zach Blair's performance start finding its groove. If you take a look at his last 12 months versus his last period of time, we are trending pretty hard. I mean, this is the definition of trending here. 0.2 strokes over the last 12 months, stroke gain-wise, a third of a stroke over the last 6, basically half a stroke over the last 4, and then basically a stroke over the last 2. So finding his groove is Zach Blair. $7,200, 38th in the model. We're going to be going to that top 20, barely investing anything over here to get him home. We'll see what he can do for us in that department. Okay, Zach Blair, check him off the box. Let's filter by model rankings and find some more names to chat about. The twisted truth about Alex Noren, my friends, is it may be time to tell the Model 2, chill the fuck out. I don't understand why Alex Noren keeps showing up here, 5th in the model, and then I dive in on him and it's just non-stop disappointment. Finished 18th at the Open. I was not on him at the Open. Should have been. Missed the cut at the Scottish. And if you take a look at what else Alex Noren has done, we can just filter by names here. You'll pop up right at the top. I lie. Holy heck, it's a full screen of A's to begin. We've got 16 names that start with an A in this in this situation. So yes, Alex Noren. I mean, as you can tell, we were starting to get some really good results in this range over here, and then I started betting him at like the RBC Canadian Open, basically. And then this is the shit that he provides. So is it time to continue powering? Do we power through what the model is telling us to do, or do we just kind of lay over and just relax? I don't know what to do with this Alex Noren situation. It's probably going to be a point where we just sprinkle him in out of respect for the model. You don't want to spit in the face of the model, but you also got to let the model know who's his daddy is. And I am the daddy of this model. I'm the only daddy, and there was no mommy either. It's just one daddy, and that's what's happened over here. So we're telling him to chill out and just play a little bit of him until he shows us what's going on. Okay, but I think Rasmus Højgaard could be an interesting angle of attack this week. Played fantastic at the Rocket at a golf course that you obviously expect him to play well at. But if you want to try and find what Rasmus Højgaard does well, is he pops up here pretty quickly on the strokes gained Bermuda putting. And it's either fescue, which is out in the Opens, Scottish and the Opens. Then you get Poa and Bent, where he's losing fractions, but he's gaining 2/3 of a stroke on Bermuda over the last 2 years, basically, 1.5 years. We've got, how many rounds of Bermuda rounds for Rasmus? 16. So this 2/3 is actually a true 0.84 strokes gained, but we are watering it down because I want 20 rounds or more worth of putting data to really give me a true baseline. Anyone that's got 20 doesn't get adjusted. Anyone less than 20, it's got that red, obviously you can see, gets watered down a smidgen because we want at least 20 rounds of golf on that side of things. So he's technically gained more on these Bermuda greens and has some good form coming in. Putted quite poorly down the stretch. Not a lot of putts were falling for him, but he was putting well across the board at the Rocket. So putting well. Was the Rocket, the Rocket's bent as well, right? Or Poa overseed, or Poa Triv, Poa Nua, whatever the freaking hell. All these overseeds are driving me bananas. But we have got true Bermuda, and we know Rasmus is fantastic on them. So some good form coming in. If we take a look at what he does well, the putting is going to be there for him. He's going to hit a lot of green regulations as well, based off of this golf course. Very good at finding. He's got immense power. So coming out of this thick Bermuda rough, this is where you can find Rasmus hitting a lot of greens, despite not necessarily gaining much on the approach side of things. So if you're hitting a lot of greens, that's great because he's a bad chipper. And he's a fantastic putter on Bermuda. So pound those greens, hit these balls wherever you got to hit them, just keep them in play to some capacity. He's obviously got immense distance. And if we take a look at the micro model, let's just take a look at what we can expect Rasmus to do. Because this is where I like the micro model. It dials in, Rasmus has got an average driving distance of like 315 yards. But per the micro model, it's only giving him a 289 yard first tee shot off hole 1. Because the average driving distance on the first tee is 278. I mean, if you take a look at these driving distances across the different holes, this is for the last 5 years. 278, 280, 270, 313 par 5. 246, 266, 269, 265. We've got a couple 292, 312. He's going to be hitting a 324 on those holes. Anytime you can unleash the driver, expect him to be hitting a 325. Because that's just what he does. Then, down the stretch, he's going to be piping drivers. Piping them. But early on, lots of approach play, lots of that. And if you want to take a look at what these guys do best, even on the side over here, dude, they've changed the names of these Rasmuses with all the different Swedish and Danish letters involved. Just randomly, in the middle of the year, they just decide databases are going to be corrupted by random Danish letters. Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, whatever. Those Scandinavian countries have infiltrated the databases for no reason. But what you can do over here is you can go to Rasmus Højgaard's drill down portion of the micro model, and you'll see there's like 0 flick wedges, basically one of them this week from 50 to 100. 7 shots from 100 to 150 for Rasmus, and then 7 shots from 150 to 200. So he's going to be losing. He's basically losing. He's neutral from 100 to 150 with a wedge. He's losing a fraction with the 150 to 200s, and then he's gaining 0.22 strokes on the 3 opportunities he gets from 200 plus. So what that tells me is if he's gaining basically a 1/7 of a stroke from 200 plus, he has his strokes gained approach. You can see the 200 plus yardages. Par 3 from the fairway, gaining 0.7. Par 3, par 5. He's going to be gaining 0.7 strokes in those instances on average over a period of time. What are you using to hit a golf ball 278, 280, 270, 246, 266? You're using your long irons. So the translation for long iron play, this is where I was getting at with this long tangent on the micro model, is that good long iron players will be thriving at this golf course because it requires you to hit a lot of good long irons while you are rocking and rolling around Sedgefield Country Club. We are going to be pulling up here who are the best long iron players in the field because that's going to help us know from the fairway as well. The rough strokes gained over here is on the right-hand side. Strokes gained from 200 plus out of the fairway is right over here. The best long iron players in this field are William Moe, Jackson Suba, Jackson Quaven, Zach Blair, Jordan Smith, Rico Hoey, Rio Hatsatsine, Adrian Dumont de Deschart, Austin Smotherman, Michael Brennan, Rasmus Højgaard, our boy, Mark Hubbard, Ben Coles, Carl Phillips, Marty Doe, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, Harris English, and Emiliano Grillo are your top 20 with some Keegan Bradley involved there as well. So you can see some long iron guys like Rico Hoey. Oh, God. Get him inside of 200 yards and it's just puke city. It just makes you want to throw up half and half all over yourself. ADDC, anytime you find him with a wedge in his hand, it's ADD broken. Like short circuit, high voltage disaster there for ADDC. Michael Brennan with a wedge or mid iron, struggles to find greens, struggles to gain strokes, but elite from 200 plus. Rasmus, as you can see, the greening regulation, he must have like a passive approach to these wedges. I don't know why I'm diving so deep into this Rasmus side of things, but I do think it's relevant because he just showed some really good form. He's popping pretty hard on Bermuda putting surfaces, and he's going to keep his ball in play a lot better than a lot of people think this week. I wish I had the brain power and energy to develop a strokes gained off the tee. That's when it's clubbed down under a certain yardage, I start pulling in strokes gained approach. Maybe that's what the twisted tee required. I just had an epiphany over here. So that's where we're going with old Rasmus Højgaard this week. I like him, and the model likes him, and we'll be going there. Much better on Bermuda than people think. So, twisted truth there. Eric Cole is the next guy we haven't spoke about. And in fact, we are going to dive into Tom Leach's, my Ben Coles addiction is getting out of control, guys. I'm on him again this week. Can't help myself. Well, you know what, Tom Leach? When you can't beat them, you better join them. Ben Coles 60-1. And we're going to start calling Ben Coles FedEx. Because I don't know if you guys watched Cheaper by the Dozen a while ago. He was the last child to be born of the 12. He was always left out. He was always ignored. He's a little soft-spoken guy. We had a frog, a pet toad, that went missing, and then he went looking for it and whatever. Just no one even knew he was missing. And I just want Ben Coles to be that guy. Just keep sliding onto my betting card at 60-1. Nobody needs to know he's on there. He's just there. He's the best iron player in the field. He's also the best driving accuracy performer in the field. I watched him hit a ball in the water live, in person at the John Deere Classic, into the water on 18. The best iron player. I stood on the hill there alongside Flag Hunting, a.k.a. Ian McNeil. And the tournament was in his hands. If he stiffed one, he could have won the John Deere Classic. If he hit the green, he's two-putting. He did not two-putt either after chipping, but he's two-putting for a playoff. What did he do? He hit in the water. So, still 60-1, still the best iron player in the field, still the best fairway finder in the field. The putting has started finding its groove. At 60-1, I'm just going to keep FedExing him onto the card, and if he wins, he wins. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It is what it is. I'm not going to get caught up in Ben Coles's monstrous meltdowns that he's had the last couple times he's played. But at the same time, I'm not going to avoid putting him on the card when he's north of 50-1 at a golf course that rewards two of his biggest strengths, if we're being completely honest here. So we start to get our first bit of Bermuda putting from Benjamin, who has putted well on the bent grass greens since moving the putter recently. Prior to the John Deere Classic run there, he changed putters, and now we are looking good. So there's your Ben Coles take, my friend. Don't be scared of the Coles. Take your feet off and walk right over them. They aren't that hot right now. At 60-1, though, we can still go there. So I'm cool with that there. All right. So other things we are going to be doing on the show. There's Ben Coles. We are betting him outright. We'll be playing him a lot at this price. I mean, this is green versus, it could potentially be blue. I mean, at $7,700, 12th in the model, I think he's going to have to be in a lot of my lineups. But I am doing 150, so I don't know if 25% is exactly where I want to be going. Let's downgrade him one more time to 15%. I'll probably be playing him in around about 1/5 of my lineups. Okay. Model rankings. Moving on down. So JT Poston, I don't really have much to say, although he has started to find some really good form over the last little while. Let's get him involved. I'm going to do a bit of scrutiny down the board here because I want to chat to you guys about this week's Lindeque ladder of the week, and it's Chandler Phillips. We are going to be going to Chandler Phillips, friends, for a top 30 at plus 310. I believe these are all at DraftKings. Drop 0.4 units on a Chandler Phillips top 30, and you'll have yourself 1.2 units returned if that comes through. We are obviously dropping 0.6 units on the remaining ladder here, so we're dropping another 0.3 units on his top 20 at plus 540. If we want to take a look, the best way to locate Chandler Phillips on the Maniac model over here is to either go and take a look at the best finish in the last couple weeks for these guys. Chandler Phillips has got himself a third place finish at the 3M. He's also got a 15th at the ISCO. Missed the cut at the Rocket, not too worried about it. He doesn't have a lot of juice off the tee. But if you want to find Chandler Phillips, you can also go over here to the top 20 market and click the best returns in the top 20 market. And it should come as no shock to you guys that I have the 4 best betting returns in the top 20 market over the last 12 months on the betting card this week. Over the last 12 months, Chandler Phillips has returned $303 if you are betting to win $100 every single time he plays. He's plus 540 for a top 20. He's playing some really good golf. He's got a 38th and a 34th at this golf course in the past. So if you take what his recent form is currently and you extrapolate it into that course history, that top 20, this top 30 it's looking very, very much alive. And over the last 12 months, let's actually go to his recent form because I want to use that to explain why some of his numbers aren't that great. But here Chandler Phillips is gaining 0.98 strokes, basically a full stroke on the field over the last 12 months. He only gains 0.2 over the last 4, loses 0.4 over the last 6. So it's been some tough sledding, but some good recent form over the last 2 months. Fairway finder, distance and strokes gained off the tee, not going to be good. Iron play is typically quite poor. That's been significantly better the last couple weeks. And he's very good at chipping and putting. He's from the south. I'd imagine the Bermuda surfaces are rife with potential for Chandler Phillips. So, continuing the ladder here. Top 10 bets. We are going to be looking at him gaining easy and medium scoring conditions. Those are his best. He's losing a total of 0.6 across the hard and hellish. He's gaining 0.4 easy and medium. that's what we're going to be getting this week, is definitely easy scoring conditions, I would imagine. So Chandler Phillips, love what's going on here. Model rank of 40th. I think we could Maniac override that a smidgen up there. But I'm bullish on this man in general. We're going with the top 10 there. We're betting 0.2 units at 12.50. And then we're going to bet the top 5 at 30-1. Bet 0.1 units to win 3. So I believe I almost won, it's almost $500 total return if I was betting my $50 across these various things. I use $5 as a 0.1 unit, $50 as a full unit. So I think when I placed the bet for all 4 of these wagers, it was returning almost like $500, which will be 10 units. So if he finishes top 5, we hit an outright essentially on Chandler Phillips, only investing 1 unit. If he finishes top 30, we make 0.6. If he finishes top 20, then we start stacking top 20 pancakes, baby. So Chandler Phillips, looking in that direction for him. I will have to be getting out of here shortly as well because we have month end to do, and there's a email I'm expecting here in the next couple minutes. So there we have it. I saw a question about Nico Echeverria as well. Is Nico a good course fit this week? What are we thinking? Well, here he is sitting 17th in the model at $7,000 flat. Is a Nico Echeverria... He putts well in Bermuda, he finds fairways, and he's okay at finding greens. He's $7,000. He's a volatile golfer. He's a prodigious winner on the PGA Tour. Has he won 3 times or at least 2? I think he should be part of your player pool this week because if we are finding this golf course to play easy, friends, he is the number 1 easy scoring conditions guy. In easy scoring conditions, not a mixture of easy and medium, easy. And we saw the weather conditions earlier up here. They were breathless. And Nico Echeverria plays fantastic golf when scoring conditions are easy. We can expect him to kind of find his groove. I've got him 13th for course fit this week. So to answer your question, Tom Leach, yes, there are only 12 players better for this course than Nico Echeverria on average over a long period of time per the model. Obviously, that may or may not come true this week. So, there we have that. We'll be playing Nico a decent amount this week as well. Any other names we want to chat about? Let me take a look here and see if this thing has arrived. I will be getting off the moment it does because there's massive deadlines going on here for us. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for me. Quick little short show today. I mean, this is hour 15. Any other questions? Is the second Viking invasion? Viking ships full of weird lead. What is that? I can't remember what that was part of. Ben Cole's addiction. Yes. As long as he's leading. Exactly. And that was the thing for Thor. Thor went into the final round there. He shot a 30 on the back 9. And I don't know. I wasn't watching much of the Rocket. I was out and about with a child. That's the life of Tom Hoagie and Sepp and the boys now, and Ricky and Jordan and JT. But it was the perfect timing. He just could put his foot on the gas, go post a number, made that putt on the last hole. It was the longest putt he made all week on the 72nd hole to clinch the tournament. Got to say that's pretty clutch. But again, at the same time, if he had slept on the lead, do we see another player's meltdown like we saw? If he played too well to start the tournament, he could have found himself in the lead. And then we don't have him coming through with a 30. He shot a 63 on Sunday. So, round of the day to win it. It's perfect. It takes luck. Sometimes your guys can play too well. They get into the lead, too much pressure. We always see those Sunday groups. Michael Brennan's group played okay, but truly no one, I think they collectively shot like level par. Not going to do it for you, right? So, not good situation there. But what is good is the Model Maniac Patreon. Check it out. Use code BETS26. 50% off everything you could wish for in there. I'll be dropping more and more nuggets. I'll be dropping my player pool. I'll be color coding all these things on the screen that you've seen going forward. And, answering any questions you guys may have in there. Everything that I have going forward is there available to you. Luke Clanton. Okay, fine. Let's take a look for Luke Clanton. And then we get the hell out of here. Luke. Found his groove at the Rocket. Obviously, it would make a lot of sense there. He typically has a lot of lot of distance, but irons have been great lately as well. I'd imagine, the form is still losing strokes over the last 2 months, but better. I don't know if this is the best course fit for him. 100th in the micro model, long term, but he does have a 5th year and a 67th last year. So maybe he likes this golf course a lot. The email just came through over here. I'm going to love and leave you guys. You got to subscribe so that if you want me for another half an hour, for another 45 minutes, I can be there for you. But I have another job that I have to do right now. You guys can change that for me. It's really up to you. So go ahead, subscribe to the Model Maniac Patreon. I'd love for you to do that. Bets 26, 50% off your first month or your first year. Come on over. We love you lots. We'll catch you guys next Tuesday. I do have one more thing to say before I'm out of here. Me and Spencer will be doing members-only shows in our Discords. So we are doing a show for our members, the Spencer Byron show that you guys love and do. We're waiting for a home for that, but we thought we'd house it nice and tight in the Discords to really show our members how much we appreciate you guys on Wednesdays. So we'll be doing that tomorrow afternoon sometime. We're still going to figure out the time. We will notify you guys in the various Discords what is happening there. But we are planning on doing this for the foreseeable future until we find a true home for the Spencer and Byron show there, aka known as Model Combat to some capacity. So lots of fun things to come. Me and Spence will be in the Discord tomorrow. All of you Model Maniac members, all of Spence's Tee Off Club subscribers will get access to that. So if there's any more reason to join, sign it up. Let's go. Link in the description. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.